Alright, this video I'm going to go over empty hand versus knife defense, and some of it's going to be a little controversial as far as the way my beliefs for it. Um, First off, I disagree, and there's people that I've trained with or people I've seen and stuff that I respect that I disagree with something that they tell everybody. And some people, that's their only thing they tell people, and that is to run. All right. There's an old saying: if you run, you will only die tired. All right. Running should not be the first thing necessarily in your mind. If you're in an elevator, where are you going to run? If you're in your car, where are you going to run? If you're in a locked room of any kind, where are you going to run? I mean, there's many situations you cannot run. Not only that, but are you able to run away from the person? You know, are you fast enough? Are you able to get away from the person? I'm not saying that there's absolutely no time to that you should try running away from the person. Yes, of course. If you have the distance from the person, if you have the ability to run away from the person, then sure, run away. But if I'm this close to the person, they already have a knife in their hand, as soon as I start trying to run, I mean, they can just chase me and just stab me. All right? It's not going to happen that way. So I do know someone who tried to run and was stabbed in the back 50 times, did not survive. So don't just tell your students, please, just the only thing to do with knife is just to run. That's not the answer. If you don't know the answer, don't tell them that. Learn something, send them to someone else, something. But running is not the answer. Now, maybe if I'm here and I do something, I stop it and I move, and then maybe I can do something first and give me a chance to take off first, maybe something like that. But not that exactly what I was doing there, but just do something with the person. And then if I get a chance, run. Sure, run. And yes, I have had to deal with knife attacks before. Uh, I've had many situations. Some were knife attacks. I've had guns pulled on me. I Part of it was from working in clubs or bars. I've done security work, and so things happen. And that doesn't necessarily mean I have more of a chance to defend myself than someone else. I'm just telling you I have this experience, all right? So if anyone is like, well, you've never done it, well, yeah, yes, I have. I've been there. And yes, one of those situations I did run because I was in a vehicle. The guy was coming at me with a knife. I already saw the knife. I waited for him to get to the door. I drove off. I didn't have to deal with it. I could have dealt with it other ways. I could have been stupid and got out and tried to fight him. Took a chance. Could have been really stupid, a bad situation for him if I would have pulled a firearm and dealt with it, you know. Could have ran him over, but any of those things could have caused me problems too. So I just drove off. That was the best scenario there, just to leave. So anyway, enough of that. So just keep that in mind. Running is not the end all answer. All right. Yes, if you can, yes, run, but it's not the only answer. Just wanted to get that point across because everybody says run. So, all right. Now there's two main attacks. If you look at any police reports or look at some CCTV videos, stuff like that, you know, you're not seeing anyone doing like fancy attacks or anything like that, you know. It's usually either the overhand or the thrust, right? The mid thrust or the overhand thrust. It's usually one of those two types of attacks. I'm not saying no other attack ever happens. Sure, there are some, but those are the main two attacks you should spend your time learning to defend against, right? Because you want to work on the probabilities and not just possibilities as much. do the possibilities, you can train them still, but spend most of your training time on the probabilities. All right? So, first I'm just going to show you some, before I show like a full techniques, and by the way, I will make other knife videos, all right? But before I show any full techniques, I'm just going to show you first some smarter ways of maybe dealing with the knife. Now, some people will say you always got to jump in and grapple with the person. Some people will say stay away from trying to hit. You know, there's all these different, they're all right, okay? There are bad techniques, there are bad ideas that will get you hurt, and but there's a lot of good stuff out there too, and there's a lot of people that are right. So, so first, from just a thrust here, right? Now, let's say this first. If my hands are down, I don't want to waste time to bring them up. By that time, I'm already stabbed, right? So if my hands are down, I'm going to show you a couple of things for that. So if the hands are down and the thrust is coming in, I'm just going to turn and use my forearm here, right? Just turning and using the forearm. So now my body's out of the way, and the knife is redirected here, right? Same thing, I can even use it on the inside. So this doesn't make any difference if I'm on the inside or the outside, either way, right? So that's one way, just blocking for right now, just stopping from me getting hurt, right? So now another way is the palm, but with fingers down, right? So it comes in again. I'm just going to go off to the side, get it away from my body. I just want it away from my body, right? Same thing, I can go on the inside. Doesn't make any difference. Inside, outside, makes no difference here. So either one of those are good. Just like if you're surprised, you know, your hands are down, you're surprised, then boom, you got it. That's easy. You don't have to raise your hands and try to do something. All right. So now, if the hands are up, okay, if your hands are up, there's a few different things we can do here. One is, whenever it comes in, then I'm just going to hammer it, right? Now, there's better places to hammer, and one would be here, just at the bottom of the thumb, in the middle. You don't want to go up in here as much. Try to hit like the bottom of the thumb, or there's a nice nerve up in here, right here, all right? You can see that, but the meaty part, you see this meaty part up here sticking up. You want to aim for that, or this is a little safer because now I'm further away even, right? But if you're that close, yes, you can hammer it. And once again, it doesn't make any difference which side I'm going on. If I'm going to the inside or the outside, I just want to move my body though. That's very important, because if I stand here and try to do anything, that just increases the chances it's still going to get through, especially according to the size of the blade. Though most blades that people are carrying around are about the same size, so, you know. So anyway, whenever I'm doing this, you just want to like slam it, hammer it here. You're not trying to like grab or control it. I'm just hitting it, sorry. I'm just going to slam it and hit it. That's all I'm doing. Just like I'm throwing a jab, I just want it there and back fast, right? That's it, there and back fast. I don't want to mess around with it and try to control it. All right, now another way, yeah, same thing, that's right, is I can elbow it, all right? This may seem a little risky. I'm not trying to pinpoint my elbow exactly at any point here. It's more of almost like I'm covering, except my elbow is going to go into it. Same thing, I can go inside or outside, makes no difference, right? And this way, at least I can also keep my hands up too. So, not that you can't with the hammering, but yeah. And you know, traditionally, like Filipino martial arts, there's a lot of like the tapping here, right? The banging with the forearm, and you can use it. Same ideas with the hammer fist. You can still bang into it, and possibly they'll drop it. All right. Now there's also the two hands on. All right, two hands on. There's a couple of techniques couple of ways I like training this. One is stopping the arm and the shoulder, okay? Don't try to grab it. Don't try to worry about just stop it. That's all I want you, just stopping it. Don't try to do anything fancy, right? Same thing on the outside. You can do this on the outside, though this works a little bit better on the inside here, okay? Another one that's two hands on, is if your hands are up, is doing this motion. If you've done Wing Chun before, you can see it's like doing like a Quan Sao. Now, a lot of people will say, if you put two hands on here, it's a bad idea. But then there are a lot of people who I have respect for and everything, that have done a lot of intensive training with blade training and sparring and fighting and stuff, have discovered back again, yes, it is a good idea sometimes to put two on one. It's according to what you're going to do with it, right? Now, if I'm going to do that, I definitely want to drive it in. I don't want to just I don't want to try to just get away, right? You can do that, but there's a reason for it. I want to drive it in because now, even if they're going to try to do the sewing needle thing here where they're doing multiple, now I can like drive into the person and keep them from doing it, okay? So let's do that kind of slow so you can see. I'm going to drive into and I'm going to keep going. So even if they pull back, yeah, you like pull back, I can follow. I can keep that control a little bit and do something with it, right? So that's a few different ways that I like as far as like basic, the blocking or entry on the low line here. Now the top with the staff here, right? So same thing, you can do the 2-on-1 right here. One, like I said, don't worry about doing anything fancy with this hand. Just stop it. Just stop it out here. Get it away from you, and stopping at the shoulder again too. The shoulder and the arm. So here, shoulder and arm, just like that. And it's the same thing. You want to go into it, right? I don't want to like try to get away because then I'm losing my own force. I want to like drive into it and stop it. All right. So that's one method. Also, again, you can hammer. Now, if you hammer, you really want to zone in to the other side of the person here at the same time, right? And I'm going to hammer it right here. Just hammer the forearm. Anywhere in here will work. You don't want to go back here because then it could still just continue to go through. You want to stop the arm with it. All right. So hammering, once again, works good here too. Just hammer it in. Like hopefully the idea is when you're doing the hammering is that it's going to make them release the knife anyway. All right. So that's your block and your disarm at the same time. Now, there's also another 2-on-1 on the top. Here, once again, if you've done Wing Chun, you'll recognize this is like a Quan Sao. And it's the same thing. I want to drive it in. I don't want to just stay back here with it, or even I don't even want to just turn into it. Nope, because then I haven't done anything to them at all. I haven't changed anything for the better for myself. So if I just do this and they're starting to just go crazy stabbing, right? And yeah, you just stab and I'll pull, but yeah, if they keep pulling back and everything, at least I can drive it in. If I stay out here, they're just going to be slamming into my arms and it's not going to work well for you. So you want to drive into it here so that you can do something with that, one way or the other, and control it and keep them from doing something to you there. Let's go back to the bottom for a second, because there's something I want to show on the top too. That is blocking this and hitting at the same time. Because now I'm shutting off the computer up here a little bit, all right? If I'm doing this, then I'm going to have a second to deal with this, right? So if I do this, I can maybe disarm the knife somehow, whatever here. Also, it works if I go on the outside. So again, outside, inside, makes no difference. Then I can do something from there. Same thing on the top. If I'm here and I go to the face and I stop it out here, it's just like going to the shoulder and the arm. except I'm going to the face and the arm. And once again, it's easy. I can just disarm it from there if I want to. So, all right. So now, like I said, that's just a few ideas on ways to enter off of those two. That's not like necessarily full counters or anything, but that's just some ways to enter off of there that are more safe. And there's other ideas, there's other ways and ideas. I've seen plenty and trained in plenty that are good. I've trained in some bad ones. So now let's go over one of each, and we'll do a full counter. All right. So we'll say from the thrust here, what we're going to do here is we're going to step in, and we're going to block the knife hand, and you can even just smack it down. You don't have to do. You can bang it. You can smack. You can use that like a hammer back here. Doesn't make any difference. Whatever you're used to, whatever you're comfortable with, just get it away from you again, and hitting at the same time. Once again with this, you can hit with anything. All right. And then from here, now hopefully you're able to slide. Just think about catching the arm. Don't try to go directly necessarily to it. You want to like capture the arm here, and then turn it around. And now I have the knife, all right? So I'm going to do that one more time. So I'm going to block, move my body, and I'm hitting all at the same time. It's all one move. Now I can get into the arm, start stepping into it. So if they do move it back, you're at least chasing it and not just creating an opening, right? Now I can take it, all right? All right, so there's one on the bottom. Now let's go to the top, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to stop it here, moving in, hitting all at the same time. Pull this down, and the edge of the flat of the blade is going to go against your wrist, all right? You're not going to get cut this way. And you can turn it out. Now, and stop it and moving. See, the flat of the blade is on my wrist. Okay, you're safe here. That's all right. So, and if something happens that it doesn't come out, because there are sometimes even when I'm trained or see other people doing it, for whatever reason, they still have a grip or whatever. If I don't twist it all the way, you can still just move it out, peel it out. There's other things you can do. Hit the arm with your elbow, whatever. There's tons of stuff to do. So anyway, that's a couple of simple counters that are pretty safe. And like I say, with the this one, you could do the same thing. You can do the same thing on the outside too, right? So I could go to a different disarm here. Or if it's on the top, here I don't necessarily have to do this disarmament with this. I could just pull it down and maybe do like a arm drag. I'll get it out. Do an arm drag and then get to their back. There's just so many different things you can do just using those entries and using those basic counters there and follow up on. I'm not going to make this video about all the follow-ups. I'm just kind of getting you in a starting position with this and getting some ideas going with you. Another thing to think about is stopping them, like say if you put it in your pocket, right? Say if I see the person has a knife, right? Or if I see that they're even going, it doesn't even matter. If I just see that they're going for their pocket, going for the back, whatever, if they're starting to pull their shirt up, anything like that, they start going for it, then I want to go for it right away. I want to stop them right away. So that's another thing you can kind of play around with, is be aware of that, is to stop them before it ever even happens, right? So if you see them going for a weapon, just stop it before it happens. And sure, maybe now, if I see he has a knife and I know he's going to attack, maybe I can have a chance to run. Or maybe if I see him going for it, maybe I do have a chance to run. It's really according to the situation. So, Yeah, but that's just a few things to think about and to work on, and I will be doing more knife videos and um, going into more depth on as far as like counters and drills and stuff like that. Like I said, this is just kind of a starting position, so give you something to start with. Anyway, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.